evening and welcome to Interface. My name is Tim. Health officials and educators are having an increasing number of teens who fall. Some of these young mothers have to deal with the birth pregnancy which resulted from rape or encounter. Now, according to the Planned Parenthood of Africa, 1 in 5 teenage fathers to forcing girls to have sex with them of these forced sexual encounters. Tonight on Interface, we discuss fathers in particular in how they address this to their teenagers, and also we approach the whole issue of raising young children. Ordered tonight, so we won't be taking your SMSs. We welcome your comments all the same. Just go to Interface on SABC 3 to Interface on 3 at co.za. First up, the insert compiled by our producer, Kinosi Queen.
You can fall pregnant for the first time. And 16 pregnant, about to do my matric. It's not easy because you are being mocked by family. Called all the funny names. It breaks you, but you must survive.
I was there because when most of my friends found out that I'm pregnant, moved away and I was left alone. My mother couldn't support me at that.
A teen mom and a 35 sharing the heartache, shame, that often comes with underage. Most teenagers describe the harm by their families and communities. But experts say the scourge of teenage pregnancy is a system that needs intervention from all fronts.
The example that adults set should be carefully. Divorce rate in our country, there are not stable learners. They need the they need to acting
and as society we still need to say no. They need guidance, they need protected, they need to a right way how to do things.
Not all teenage pregnancies are experimentation, though sexual abuse and coercion are some of teenage pregnancy. She became pregnant followed by her stepfather. He is currently fine. Social acceptance. How young girls eventually deal with the trauma of pregnancy. Often the fear of rejection by those them results in bad choices such as dumping the newborn baby or in some extreme cases murdering the newborn child. Rina Fani the challenges of teenage pregnancy. At this Pretoria School for Pregnant 26 years, she has
having a baby is romanticized for the changes that is, and then once that baby has been they come back to earth with when they realize what hard work it is after a newborn baby.
Here, everyone is or has been, and girls are given a new and a chance to do things differently away from them. Kinosi Queen.
All right, let's thank you for this discussion this evening. Psychologist and Jacob is a father who is raising. Conrad Nagia is also the Section 5 member of, and speaking tonight in his personal about how fathers are approaching, just how prevalent a problem this is. Welcome to all three of you. Thank you so much for joining us. I just want us to start with the slide reasons behind pregnancies that we see. We have a whole host of given, girls in particular, to the SABC we've done. 66% say that they not use contraceptives. And I'd like to start, would young adults in 2012 to use contraceptives?
Knowledge, understand what contraception is about is the beginning of this whole thing. Young sometimes are not aware, don't have the knowledge of contraception. And in the relationship with the, very often that boyfriend is not do contraception.
But I'm surprised, thinking of just how much education is out there. You know, schools, they're going to youth clubs, places, talking to kids about how much more education do they need? What more?
In reality, that education does not filter down to. If we're looking at the general problem with illiteracy, you know how much coming through in print that you can read. So if you say what kind of knowledge these youngsters, we spoke about the role. So if we look at the role model or environment, role models to a youngster following the.
Do you agree with that, Conrad? That is education. The problem is that they're just not getting the right information about contraceptives.
It's not, the education problem is not, awareness of it is not adequate. It should be more detailed, more out there in school for it. But a lot of, I seem to understand within the family environment and the and it has a lot product of the home that it's brought up in. And if these educated in a child with certain morals and principles, these are the results that we see.
But Janice, you're raising a teenage daughter. Did you or how do you approach sex with your teenage daughter?
At home. We discuss free, and I think the good thing about it, you know, some of the things that I communicate already knows from school, but I don't think maybe the issue or contraception as such, or other societal problems that are just address them, because it's not necessarily a question of saying in this teenage pregnancy because girls at this age are not using contraception. It's more than just that. I think it's a lot of things. Attitudes from men, big enough to be their grandfathers and all those, rather than just not using contraception.
Just to touch on that, you know, the role of the and the role of these boyfriends. I mean, one of the things in the intro is that 1 in 5 boys has admitted to force to have sex with them. 30% sexual encounters resulted in. Is that as big an issue as well? Or is that really more of a minor issue? Girls just volunteering to be partakers in this?
I want to be, if we imagine, we have no idea how much sexual interaction actually happens in schools. During break time, after school, girls are involved with boys. Maybe this is something that we haven't of in the past or haven't spoken about it, but it's happening. Come back to adding something to that question you asked earlier. At the 30% where it was coercion, the one you then say they should have taken a contraception. Girls then be put onto contraceptives. You have to understand my life. I want to do certain things. The status of a young girl having a child to an elevated level. The girls who have babies actually have a high status in schools. They mix together, they
That a fact?
that is a fact. And then
Because I would have thought there's more of a stigma if you have a baby.
no, you come back and next year you
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I agree that it's more of a status. To me, it's negative. From my daughter, for instance, where happen to be sexually active, not necessarily happen to be sexually active, it becomes an issue to them. I'm not sure if it will have people a higher status at school and stuff like that. Maybe to me it becomes some kind of a stigma.
Popular culture glamorizes promiscuity. Lady Gagas, we have the Slim Shady, that really devalue. It's lost its become commercialized. And not to look at that under a microscope and evaluate it. We've got to ask.
Yeah, I think tonight we might not have that, the role of popular culture. Let's assume it has really played a negative role, is pushing more of these at an earlier stage. But is it part of emphasis on the girl? Because even as we, what young girls should be doing to protect themselves, young girls, what about the boy child that is impregnated girl?
I looked at a study. I think it was 19% was that were responsible for these pregnancies. The rest were much. Now, adding to this is the very people that teachers, like your religious leaders, they should. All these, we assume they are responsible people in society.
But you're saying almost 80% of them are impregnated. That is a scary statistic. Are you having sexual intercourse with a young, irresponsible at it? Do give us a line on the Facebook page. We want to hear what makes you do that. That young girls and young boys are being this. Let's continue with this discussion right after that. Our Facebook page is Interface on SABC. We continue right after this. Welcome back to Interface. We're talking teenage pregnancy tonight. We're looking specifically at the role of fathers in. We were talking earlier about the girl child and why it is that we much on the boy child. Is that part of the problem?
We are missing the point. If message is on the girl child, we are actually missing the point because these girls are not impregnating themselves. Messages that will concentrate on the boys, that will sugar daddies, whatever you call them. Problem is, we must also address as in the society other than those kind. Concentration should not be on the girls.
On the girls. Say something, Ingrid, because the scary statistic, or almost 80% of these pregnant boys. I would have thought it was the other way around. Sugar daddies are responsible for about 20%, but Conrad, actually much higher than that.
I'll add in two phases. One with the sugar daddy really applies to a kind of style, the kind of way an adult person expect from the community behaves. So that is the one. The other side where we focus on the young through adolescence, and adolescence is quite a for these young boys. So I would say that these youngsters are really cannons if we don't have a structure of a good role model. So the question is, where are the fathers? To their educational level, sometimes when you correct about your behavior, make good choices. But if you never your thoughts and your actions, you really just act on impulse.
And it's not really happening on the ground. So
It's
how is the fact that on the ground we are having the increase? And Conrad, you know, to do with the fact that we have looked at this and we've said, it's these young girls are going to do this, they're going to go for the sugar daddy phones and they give them clothes.
Well, yes, but you must understand, over a period of time, moral fabric is eroding away. What used to be regarded as strong before are now regarded as obsolete. But funnily enough, the study done by the Department of Education with UNICEF, I think it was a study that was done.
Right, yeah.
The young fathers, the teenage fathers that study, expressed a willingness to become life, but were prevented, firstly, because they were financially incapable. Right? Though there was a child on it, financially incapable of taking care of that child. And also culturally and socially, they were shunned because since they couldn't, any other way that they could contribute success was denied to them. And so the child was further alienated.
I want to go back to a point that you made earlier, the role of morality. You back to the lack of morality in our society. Quote something that was in the Mail and Guardian recently. Jan Thorpe was saying that the abstinence is a silliness getting through to these youngsters because have sex, they will have sex. So the morality not taking us anywhere, some of these people argue.
We'll have to go back to contraception. Then we'll have to implement a more, get it from a model in some other way, which is it's important.
We've tried that, Bamjangas. We've tried the aid, be faithful, condomize. We've tried that. Hasn't tried saying, you know, go back to basic work. We've tried the educational aspect. Do here.
I think we need a, and I think if we are able to build for our children, both is at home, you know, we discuss these things, you tell them about the repercussions, these stages. I'm not sure if I agree with the statement that abstinence, because I think, to me, I actually believe in saying, obviously we are not saying no sex forever. At a particular stage, the teenage years, or it says concentrate on other things, studies and
Why
stuff.
not getting through though? Why is it that the message of at the moment is really that cool?
I think to a certain extent, it's just a question of saying, like older men and stuff like that will actually force themselves into girls because of some circumstances. Some of these girls are actually, and the way to provide factors them out to find themselves doing those things.
In fact, in that 42% or just of the young girls that are sexually, that they were coerced into it. Your point that it's the older men that are there. And if maybe the link is as strong as what you suggest, what Ingrid?
The emotional security and acceptance of that be critical. Say a young girl child want to be accepted and want to belong and experience meaning in our relationship. Young girl receives this older man. I'm going to use this. So works with the young, anyone who notices them, it makes them feel stronger. So in growth, they are dependent to feel important.
But how do we teach them that that's not the right? Everybody wants to be loved and accepted. Necessarily have to have sex at 15
yourself.
to do that.
So in terms of emotional awareness, of emotionally, That is something that is love, being loved.
This goes back to the home. It keeps, and I want us to touch on the differences between the developing world and the developed world in our approach to this right after this break. Interface Talking Teenage Pregnancy tonight. We're talking who is a father of a teenage. Red Nagia is a founding member of Section 35 as a father, and Ingrid Koch is looking particularly at the role of father in the home and how we can actually find practical pregnancy. And before the break, we're looking at just aspect of it. If you look at the UK and the US, very high statistics for and yet these are first world countries. How do we then say poverty is?
Because it's socially acceptable now, and there are no any serious repercussions. Really, honestly, what it two teenagers from having sex and having a baby? We've immunized ourselves to it now.
The insert that we played in the beginning, those young mothers, they weren't having fun. So if you community where young mothers are not enjoying, you say that this is something that we've maybe made fashion.
Well, you know, if you look at it, like you say, the UK and America, those are not poor countries. There's no repercussion, any onus on them to accept responsibility. They live on the social welfare system. And they can have the social system take care of them.
So what kind of repercussions should...
Even in our country, you can have a kid and of 240 Rand a month per child. We'll give you a monthly income of 500 Rand.
Conrad, I'd like us to put up on the screen the first slide that we put up, because if you go that slide, it'll show you that the aspect of social kids having kids of 2% of the entire of teenagers. So is it really fair to say when it weighs in at just 2%?
2% of the total population
of teenagers. Yes. Driving force. It's not really as big an issue, for example, as people wanting to or, you know, just being coerced in. Not really that big according to those statistics. Anybody
about pregnancy and the fact of falling pregnant, these be active sexually to be.
So can have it first time.
Well, we must do a statistic about that first time. But we had, say, 33% with pregnant. So they are active, sexually active. If we now say, what is the benefit for them? A young girl child will fall pregnant if she doesn't know that there's something, if she wants to be sexually active, contraception, and she could understand how cycle works. Now we put all the HIV training, so many youngsters, young boys, not knowing about the menstrual cycle.
Question is specifically to the child support grant. Do you think it is an issue in this day and age in South Africa?
I think,
or are those statistics misguided?
Does play a role, different communities, because I think it differs in the different. But I think what I experience on ground level, youngsters have the opportunity to bring that baby, to offload that.
And that's a driving force.
I'm actually worried about the figures. these figures, you need to know the context behind it, the
Yeah.
thing. I mean, if there's a huge number that says that teenagers wanted babies, to me, I don't know, but I think to me, let us call me conservative. One thing that I don't open this environment that is exploited. We just had Street 60. They call it
Loose environment in your home is not a loose environment in
Well, I don't know. I think we both on the same page. I think we.
somebody else. It's not you there.
No, what I'm trying to say is that whereby our teenage girls are just free to do things. I had a party, they called it Sweet 16 party. I was very strict. There were boys and stuff. And the message was very clear to say that, look, sex, good thing, it's a nice thing and stuff like that, but you get enough time when it's right.
Like parents don't. Parents from the communities, from the kids about sex.
Well, I do.
Our teachers still don't sex.
Well,
So
maybe they should look on a less formal level and
NGOs into the school to speak
well,
about.
That's
So
where
a
I'd like us
good
to drive
topic.
to. I hear you, Babjangas. And I'd like to live at your house as well, where you set rules and your kids know that sex is great, but it'll later. But the majority of youngsters in South Africa that message. So how do we get them not at an earlier stage? What do we do? What we
I am completely.
do we switch off all of the lady
No.
girl?
Look,
what must we do?
you know, the young children, and they're prone to be rebellious. We give them freedom, but they have a right to their freedom, responsibility with their behavior. Make them understand their responsibility. Like I was saying to Jacob earlier, we provide the school fees. It's their responsibility.
Okay.
He's speaking about the future, having some goal, having some dream.
dream.
If you ask them what they want to do, if we 16 million unemployed youth that are doing nothing, to me it's a hopelessness. It's a feeling of
Rid of
as
that.
a
What must we do? I'm looking
focus
for
on a
solutions.
career. Child be linked to a future possible. Let's get schools together. Let's get them into internships. Let there be a to work life.
Babjangas, that has been brought in one study in the UK. They say the less conservative you are around, the better for the kids. Because if you you tell them that it's okay to have sex, they respond better to that than saying until you are 21. So how do we approach?
The less conservative you are, the better, but not necessarily have sex. I think you are less conservative if you give repercussions of having sex at an early stage and all. You are less conservative, you are open about it. There is no way where you are shy about some other things around sex and stuff. You make it very clear that having sex at an early stage where it has these repercussions. We must develop the growth of it. That you are a teenager now, these are the issues, these are the repercussions. Love, they mislead you. There is love at home. There is love from your father. There is love from the mother.
Okay, quick one. How do to play a more active role in talking to boys about sex? Quick one.
Give them exercise that right to contact. Let them in activities. Let them be a more active role in their lives.
Okay.
But in everyday activities.
To my guest, that's where we're going to tonight, and thank you for joining us for again next week when we bring you another riveting topic. Remember via email, that's interface on3@sabc.za, or you can always drop us a line on our interface on SABC3. Now, for